Hi, everyone. Welcome to the show. You're listening to She's Got This. I'm your host, Christine Gallagher, and I'm so happy that you joined me today. Welcome back if you are one of my amazing listeners, and welcome to the show if it's your first time listening. So today we're talking about one of the core concepts that I work with my clients and students on. But before we jump in, I want to let you know that my brand new 6-week live program called State is now open for enrollment for a limited time. It's very much related to what we're talking about in this episode, actually. And State is a program that will transform you into the kind of entrepreneur who consciously and confidently creates what they want, no matter what's going on outside of you. So this is where I hold your hand and show you how to identify, accept, clear limiting beliefs, and replace them with better in order to dissolve their power. And this is where I teach you to responsibly manipulate energy to shift your state in order to create everything that you want. And you can see all the details at shesgotclients.com/state. Enrollment is only open for a few days, and I would love to have you. So let's dive in. What the F is intentional energy direction? In a nutshell, it's about how to work smarter, not harder, to create what you want, and how to intentionally use energy to more than make up for what your marketing might not be doing for you currently. Now, I am very spiritual, and I have been for a long time, but at the same time, my brain is very logical. I'm an ISTJ personality type, if you're familiar with Myers-Briggs. And I've always had a little healthy skepticism about things that others might consider the woo-woo realm or the esoteric realm. I have always taught marketing, and it always had a healthy dose of mindset mixed in, but I was really the brass tacks girl. It was all about strategy. So for years and years, 90% of what I taught and worked with my clients on was marketing and strategy, and 10% was more internal. And today that has flipped. So in other words, 90% of your results come as a result of who you are being. If I had to put it into one word, it's the word state, your state of being. And science today actually backs this up. Your state is the energetic catalyst that brings matter into physical form. And it factors in so much more than you might realize. And I still love and teach marketing, but because of the inner work that I was led to over the past couple of years, I now see what truly moves the needle the most. So my clients and colleagues will tell you I do things a lot differently than most people. I don't do long sales or discovery calls. I don't do complicated launches. I don't run Facebook ads much. I don't have the hugest list. I have one funnel, and you can barely call it that. And I only work about 20 to 25 hours a week, if that. And this is why you can use your imagination to shift your state, which shifts all of your results. So we imagine everything as children, but we're conditioned out of that. And this is about returning to that power. So the state you are in when you do the thing, you can also think of it as energy, an energetic state. The energy with which you do the thing, whatever the thing may be, is far more important than the thing itself. And you've actually been manifesting all of your life just without intentionally directing it. But we can be intentional with this instead of being sort of willy-nilly with creating what it is we want. So today, that's what I want to share with you, some of the pieces that go into what I now call intentional energy direction. Because the truth is, we can manipulate energy to create everything that we want, whether that's income, number of clients, the type of client you call in, relationships, opportunities, everything. And if I can do this as someone who, I joke, came out of the womb with anxiety being my default emotion, then you can do this too. The first piece to understand is knowing it is done. Knowing it is done is about understanding that creation is finished. What that means is that what you want is already here and it already exists. Now, when I first heard this, I was like, how does that work? Again, my logical brain was kicking in. How could what you want already exist if you don't currently have it or see it? Well, it has to do with the nature of time. So all possibilities exist because time is actually not linear. The measurement of time is a man-made concept, and we think of it as linear because it helps us understand things on a timeline. But in reality, the past, present, and future are all happening at once, and physics has proven this. So if that's true, then you can decide to align with the possible outcome you most want because it already exists. And that is honestly mind-blowing. So stick with me. The version of your life where you have everything you desire already exists. And when you understand this, you'll realize that circumstances actually don't matter because the 3D is only reflecting the state of where you've previously resided the majority of the time. So this means you can align with a version that has everything you want and allow it in. One of my favorite quotes of all time is by a guy named Raymond Hollywell. I actually talked about him on episode 1 of this podcast. He said, "No desire is felt until the supply is ready to appear." In other words, you can't have a desire without the possibility of what you desire being yours. Otherwise, you would have never had that desire in the first place. It would be impossible. And because I understand that now, I always remind myself that the 3D doesn't matter. Circumstances don't matter because I know that as long as I'm doing my part, which is what we're talking about today, then movement is happening in the unseen. So to take this a little further, the concept of living in the end was something I struggled with at first because I thought, well, when people talk about manifestation or creating your own reality, does that mean you just go around sort of faking it till you make it? But it's actually not what that means. When we talk about ignoring circumstances, it doesn't mean that you completely check out of your life and meditate or play pretend 24/7. Living in the end is about thinking from the end, not thinking of the end. More on that in a moment. The second piece to understand has to do with your self-concept or how you see and think of yourself. So your concept of yourself is the cause of all the circumstances of your life. So any change that you want to see occur needs to start from within you first, as within, so without. So if you don't see the change you desire on the outside, then you have not changed within. And this is actually good news because you have total control over that. Unlike algorithms or emails going to spam or iPhone updates affecting how many people see your Facebook ads. So as soon as you transform yourself, your world will rearrange itself to reflect what your change affirms. So this, of course, means you want to fall in love with what you really want to be, but it is so very worth it. By changing your concept of yourself, you can interfere with your future and mold it to align with your changed concept of self, which of course is insanely powerful. Each of us has that same power. So then you might wonder, does this ability to change the future go against the idea that we started out with here, which is creation is finished? No, because by changing your concept of self, you change your relationship to things. So for example, if you rearrange the words of a play to write a different play, you haven't created new words, you've rearranged them. So your self-concept determines the order of events that you encounter. So they are in the foundation of the world, but not their order of arrangement. Once you change how you see yourself and you commit to that new self-concept, the world has no other choice but to rearrange itself around you. So this means that everything is responding to what you are imagining. That means it's all mirroring your assumptions. You call everyone and everything into your world according to what you believe, and that is hugely powerful. So truly, imagination creates reality. Inner creates outer. You are the operant power in your life, and you get to create anything you want, because life actually unfolds according to what is going on inside, and anything else is an illusion. So when you change your state and your self-concept, you can literally watch your desires magnetize around you. So to recap so far, creation is finished, and when you work on your self-concept and living in the end, magic starts to happen. Except it's not magic at all, it's very real. Which brings us to the third piece here. It's about persisting in the wish fulfilled. So in order to influence your subconscious to live in the state you want to be in, you have to assume the feeling you would have if your wish had already been fulfilled. So the end goal is what matters most. How it shows up or what obstacles might get in the way is not your concern. And that's actually a relief. The subconscious is non-selective by nature, and it accepts what you feel, whether that's positive or negative, and creates it in your world. So you impress your subconscious through feeling. And the word feeling is meant less in the emotional sense and more to do with holding the state that it is already done. Acceptance of the fact that the desire is fulfilled. So for me, it feels like a knowing. Maintaining the state of the wish fulfilled is just another way to say that you know the thing is going to happen. It's a place of calm, happy expectation. There are different techniques to help you get in your desired state consistently, and I've shared a few of them on other episodes of this podcast. So when you assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled, your higher self will determine the means. Your higher self has ways and means you don't know about. When you know it's already a fact, you go about your day as though it were, and things will happen to make it so. So your higher self already has done it and already has it. All you do is move to the place where you encounter it. But here's the best thing about it for me and why I am obsessed with this way of life in my business. A lot of the stress and upstream feeling I have had in the past when it comes to thinking about what strategy to choose or what actions to take in my business has dissolved. Now, obviously, I still take action and do practical things, but they are things that I am guided to now. The magic is the energy that you're directing when you impress your subconscious starts to guide what you do. So this is co-creation. The energy is what creates the bridge of incidents that leads to your desire. Now, to me, this feels so much better because it feels like you're in flow. So instead of racking your brain, figuring out what you should do next or getting caught up in the how, you can have the energy you're intentionally directing do the heavy lifting. And what I find is that you are led to the right things to do at the right time. And to be honest, one of the big reasons I hadn't enjoyed my business in a long time was because I would get so caught up in the how. And not only that, the strategies that I was using really felt sort of overly masculine and not fun for me. And in the past, when I would hear people say, you don't need to know the how, I'd be like, huh? Because I was always the strategy girl. Like, of course I need the step-by-step how, and I need it right now. So this has allowed me to let go so much more and trust that I'm being guided because I ask to be guided and I see in my mind's eye how I ultimately want things to go. And then I'm shown what to do. And it's a relief because I get to free up all that energy I used to put into figuring it all out. And again, it's not that you don't do the things that are practical, but you've got co-creative help in the process that influences your decisions and your choices. And the best thing about that is that I have now unraveled this connection I always had between working hard and hustling and bringing in money. I feel like that is the brute force way to do it. And does it work? Yes. But at this point, that is not how I want to work at this stage in my life and my business. And now I have a core belief where I trust that I'll be shown what to do next, and then my assumption becomes fact. So the vibrational component of you is the most important. And by working consistently on how you feel, you have the ability to outpour effectively into every area of your life. This is why now when I am, quote, working on my business, what I am doing is this internal stuff 90% of the time, instead of putting 90% of my effort into marketing tactics and strategy, which is where the majority of my effort and energy used to be. So yes, we need to market if we're in business, but having this 90% foundation as the energetic place where you are coming from changes everything. All right, I love you guys. Thank you as always for listening. If you love this episode or if it helped you, please share it. I would love to share this with as many people as possible. It's really fun to do these episodes for you, and I hope that they help. I hope you have an amazing day, and I love you lots. Until next time, keep shining your light.